Hello, happy stampers. This is Kate with Kate's Paper Creations, and I'm here today to share what started out to be simple stamping, but I have 3 cards I'm going to show you today. They're not super difficult, but I don't know if they qualify as simple stamping, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. So this is the first one we're going to make, and let me get us started. The motive behind what I was doing today was to use up some designer series paper. The Sand and Sea designer series paper sadly is going to be going away with the mini catalog, which ends the end of June. And so I wanted to use it up, and maybe you've got some on your shelf. It is still available if you fall in love with it. So you can still get some if you really like it, at least until the end of June. So here is what I started with. I started with a base card of my mind goes blank sometimes. Don't you just love it when that happens? Flirty Flamingo. And it's a standard A2 card. So it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I embossed it with the Seashells 3D embossing folder. And to do that, I just took the folder and placed the card front inside like this. And it does leave a little bit of an edge there, but that's not going to show when you get done with the cards. So I was happy with that. So then the next layer is So Saffron, which is one of the coordinating colors with the paper. And the So Saffron piece is 3 3/4 inches square. Then the next piece, which is what I call my art piece, it is from Basic White Regular, and it is 3.5 inches square, so it will leave this lovely little border around it. Then from the Sand and Sea Designer Series papers, I cut 9 1x1 squares, 1 by 1 inch squares. And they're here, get them all laid out. And because they're double-sided, you can cut your pieces and then lay them out. So that's what I did. I used both sides of the paper, so you don't have to cut up as much, but my goal was to use it up. So I'm going to bring in my stamp and seal, and I'm going to put them onto this 3.5 by 3.5 inch piece. And I started by doing this top left corner, and I planned it so that there would be approximately 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So I put that corner on, and then we'll bring in the next piece. And I did the other corner next, just in case my cutting was a little bit off or whatever. This gives me a border to work with. So there's my 2 pieces, and then I can put the third piece in the center. Let's see. I should have put that one in the middle. It doesn't matter, I guess. Okay, and so then this one, then it's just a matter of lining them up together. Get that one right where I want it. And if I end up with a little bit wider gap between these pieces, it's okay. It still holds its symmetry. And so that ends up working really well. I'm going to do the same thing here on this side. I'm going to take and put this one on next. Just like that. And then let's see, I need which one do I want next? I guess we'll do this one next. And we'll put this one in between, like this. And there we go. And then it's just a matter of, choosing what you want to put where. I did try to get different designs. And so the colors would kind of work together. Let's see, let's put this one next. And then we'll put this one here. And once you've got those corners in place, then it's just a matter of lining up your squares, and it actually comes together quite easily. So I guess it could qualify. It's just paper, and oh, got that one a little crook. Let's see if I can pick that up. There we go. Okay, just like that. And then for the center, this is a 1 by 1 inch piece of regular basic white. I'm going to use the Flirty Flamingo ink, and I'm using a sentiment from Very Versailles. Have a beautiful day, and I am putting it on the triangle. It's too big to fit sideways, I think, and then I kind of liked the idea that it was a little variation. So then this piece I'm going to attach with dimensionals. Actually, no, I'm going to attach this piece to the So Saffron just flat with Stampin' Seal. Just like this with that border around. Then I'm going to attach this entire piece with dimensionals. And it's nice and solid. It doesn't need a lot of dimensionals. It's got, because it's double layered, it's got lots of support. And I just centered it from side to side and kind of made the top so it was the same distance from the top as it was from the sides. Then I'll put a dimensional on the back of this one, and we'll attach it like a diamond in the center. And that's the first card. So that's pretty simple, and it gives you a way to use some of that beautiful designer series paper that you may have sitting on your shelf, like I have a tendency to do. Okay, so that's card number 1. And I wanted you to see some different ways to use your DSP, different patterns you can make. You can get really elaborate. These are actually quite simple, but you can get very elaborate. So this is the second one I did. For this one, it's also just a basic A2 card, so I'm using basic white thick, 5.5 by 8.5, and find my bone folder so I can burnish that edge. And then I cut, get my cheat sheet here so I can remember what size I cut that. And of course I can't find my cheat sheet. So, oh, there it is. Okay, so I cut I cut these strips. 2 of them I cut 1 3/8, and 1 I cut 1 1/4, and I did that on purpose. And the center one is the 1 1/4 inch, and then the 2 outside ones are the 1 3/8 inch, and I did that so I could maintain this 1/8 inch border all the way around. And I still liked the look, even without those all 3 being the same size. And let's see, and I just got to figure out which one. Maybe I didn't cut one yet. I need to cut it down. Okay, so I will take this one and cut it to 1 1/4. And the other 2 are already 1 3/8. So let me get that in here and do that. And then for attaching, again, it's just a matter of, I'm attaching it with snail right to the front of the card, just flat. Snail. Stampin' Seal. And I'll put this one on first and leave that border down the side and top to bottom all equal as best I can. just like that. And then I'll put the middle one on. And that's easy because you're just going to butt it right up tight to the first piece. Get that out of the way. So it automatically is easy to adjust. And then put the last piece on. Again, this is the Sand and Sea Designer Series papers. Some beautiful colors there. And there's my last piece. So then I took the circle dies and I cut one circle. This one, the smallest one, is the 1 1/8 inch circle. This one, which is the Blushing Bride, and this one, which is So Saffron, are the 1 3/8 inch circle. And then this is the 1 3/8 scallop circle, and it's from Melon Mambo. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment "Thank You," which came from Very Versailles, with Flirty Flamingo. Just like that. Could have gotten out the other, but this is okay. Then I just attached these two flat. And placement, of course, is totally up to you. And this I attached, the sentiment white piece, I attached flat to the scalloped background. And then this scalloped piece I attached with a dimensional. Just one right in the middle. And kind of overlapped it with the others like that. And it's okay if it's not square with the world. It can be at an angle, that works. These pieces I cut out from some of the paper. One of the papers has these designs on them. I can get a piece and show it to you right here. And I just cut out some of these from there. So that's what I used. And they're just going to go on flat, kind of on those circles, to give those circles a little bit of something. And there's card number 2. Okay, then card number 3, that was kind of a fun one. I really worked at this one a little bit. This is what I ended up with. And let me tell you how we made that one. I started again with a plain basic white thick card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. It's going to be a top fold card. The next layer is Flirty Flamingo, and it is 5 1/4 by 4, and it will end up going on here flat, but we're not going to attach it yet. Then the next layer is these two pieces here. This is Blushing Bride, and this is basic white, and the Blushing Bride piece is 4 7/8 by 1 7/8, and this white piece is the same, 4 7/8 by 1 7/8. Then I took the Blushing Bride stamp set. Get it to open up. Sometimes I have a hard time getting these to open. There we go. And the Blushing Bride ink, so it'll be tone on tone. And I am using the speckles from one of my other stamp sets. Can't remember which one, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it, stamp off, and stamp. I didn't want it super dark. I felt like this kind of looked like speckles of water, and it just gave some interest to this bottom piece. I felt like it was too plain without it, and so that's what I did with the bottom piece. I'll put that away later. I'm having a hard time getting it to cooperate. Okay, then this top piece I cut strips again from the Designer Series papers. And these strips, They're kind of a unique size. They're 13/16 wide. And again, that was planned so that it would fit my layout, okay? And this is, like I said, 1 7/8. I cut these at 2, I think 2 or 2 1/4, so they'd be a little bit longer, and I'll just trim off when I'm done. But I'm just attaching those flat, and I'm just using this as the backing, so I have 2 pieces that'll sit side by side. I don't have these. Anyway, I hope it makes sense. I didn't want to oh, and I thought of something. After I did this, I thought, you know what would be easier, rather than putting adhesive on just the single strips, is to just do this across. Because then I don't have to deal with adhesive on these pieces. And you're just going to butt them up to one another like this, across the top. And let's see this one next. This is much easier than putting it on the pieces. Oop. As long as I keep myself square with the world. There we go. And then I'll put this one on. And then the blue one. And then this one, the very end. There we go. Now I'm going to cut off that extra. That also makes it easier when you're cutting off this, because then it's not got sticky on it by getting it on your scissors and everything else. And I made them a little longer than they needed to be, so I'd have a nice smooth edge across the top. That really made a big difference. You can see that there's just a little bit, you never get them perfect across here, but that's going to be the bottom, and it'll get covered, you know, the middle, and it'll be covered with the ribbon, and so that ends up working out really well. So now this is going to go on here like this, and it's just going to go on flat with Stampin' Seal. And we're leaving that border around. Let's get that, and then this one will go on there flat for the bottom half. And again, you're just going to butt it up to it, and it will leave that border. And then this is the Flirty Flamingo metallic ribbon. It's 1/4 inch wide. I have 2 pieces here, one that's going to go on the card, and sometimes I tried putting tape on this. It was really difficult to do. Sometimes I just need a supply that Stampin' Up! Doesn't have, and that is this double-sided tear and tape. And I am going to just put it, instead of on the ribbon, I am putting it on the card itself. And I'm going to cut it long enough that it can go around to the back. And I'm going to put it right where I want to lay the ribbon, right there. And we will stick it to that and wrap it around. And then we will peel off the backing, like that. And then I will put the ribbon on, and I can start by just getting it there. And because I've put it on straight, it's going to be easy to stick it, and this is going to hold that ribbon in place, which I really, really appreciated. You can tell I cut it just a little bit too long. And so there's that, like that. Then I did attach this to the front of the card, just flat. You could dimensionalize it if you wanted to, but I felt it had enough. It looks really cute. And you could do it this way, or I guess you could do it this way too, but I liked it this way. So then I'm going to just center that on here, like that. And then the sentiment is stamped with Flirty Flamingo, and I used the Have a Beautiful Day from Very Versailles, just like that. And I attached this with a couple of dimensionals. Like that. And put that right there. Then I also made a bow. Let me get a little bit more ribbon. And we'll make a bow. This is how I make bows. I just make a loop and hold it. Make a loop and hold it. And then wrap it around and send it down through the bunny hole. And then it's just a matter of adjusting it. Getting it the size that I want it. Let's see. That's a little bit bigger than I want, so let's shrink it down just a little bit more. There we go. And then we'll trim the ends to the length I want. I can't make bows without wasting some ribbon. If you're better at it, I'm proud of you. Okay, and then this is attached with just a little mini glue dot. We'll get one of those and attach it to the back of the bow and stick the bow on over here. And then where are they? Artistry Blooms sequins are the sequins I used, and of course they have all these beautiful colors, and I just kind of went through it to find the one that I think matched the best, and so I just put some little bling on there on the sentiment to kind of tie it all together. Two different sizes, and there's card number 3. So I don't know if all of these were considered easy to make, if they were simple stamping cards or not, but they were fun to make, and I just wanted to share with you what I had done, and so here they are. There's card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I thank you for stopping by. I will put a link to my online store in the description below, and I hope that you will shop with me. There's also a link to my blog and a link to the These Are My Stamps site where you can find a printable supplies list for you to use if you're using this with your customers or whatever. So I hope that if you don't have a demonstrator, you'll consider shopping with me, and I thank you again for stopping by.